This episode of the Potterverse is brought to you by MinuteWithMary.com. Now, listen, I know so many of you have heard me talk about some of my favorite products, one of them, of course, being mascara. And this week, the week that we are recording this live, I want to give you a heads up that I am teaming up my mascara with my best-selling liquid eyeshadow product. I got to tell you my favorite shade. It's the shade Reverent. It's the shade of Liquid Luck, I almost want to say. It's a champagne shimmer shade, really easy to blend. And I'm having this on sale on my site, MinuteWithMary.com. You just click shop now. It's going to be the first thing that pops up. You can get it with your twisted mascara or your waterproof or your brown. The world is your oyster when it comes to my mascaras. Bundled with one of my best-selling liquid eyeshadows at a 20% savings. Check that out. MinuteWithMary.com. Click shop now. From Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to the Potterverse. It's a podcast dedicated to the book and film universe of Harry Potter. So grab your favorite wands and time turners. Let's step into the night and pursue that flighty temptress adventure. Everybody, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and I wish I could get ice cream every half hour for as long as I wanted, just like Harry. For free, by the way.
What's up with that?
Right? We know.
Was Harry the OG influencer? Is Harry the equivalent of 20-year-old girls going out and like wearing sunglasses and taking pictures of themselves at a beach and #ad?
Yeah, exactly. Harry is a walking ad. Like, right. That's what he does.
Little did he know. He first got all of his books. Star?
I said that scar on his head is a walking advertisement.
I mean, first he gets all the free books from Gilderoy Lockhart that he doesn't need. Now it's getting all this free ice cream. And let's be real, Harry Potter's loaded, okay? I mean, yes, he does need to spread out that money. I can appreciate.
Caitlin here on Facebook says, well, it's because
I'm Harry freaking Potter.
Truth.
I'm not going to lie. That's probably the truth. I'm not going to lie.
Seriously. All right. So here we are spending a grand old time at the Leaky Cauldron, chapter 4 of the Prisoner of Azkaban. And the quote that I wanted to read for you. Dun, 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 dun.
When did it turn into Superman?
Sorry. I just love that. Never before had he been able to get up whenever he wanted or eat whatever he fancied. He could even go wherever he liked as long as it was in Diagon Alley. And as long as this cobbled street was packed with the most fascinating wizarding shops in the world, Harry felt no desire to break his word to Fudge and stray back to the Muggle world.
It's great knowing that this actually Harry is what he considers the best day in his life.
Best day ever.
The best day ever.
He's like Rapunzel getting out of the
best
tower.
Day ever!
Without the regret.
Yeah, no regret. No regret whatsoever. Although I love that sequence in Tangled where she's like, this is awesome. This is terrible.
Yeah.
I love this. My mother's going to kill me. Oh, Mandy Moore.
So good. So good.
Love me some Mandy Moore.
All right. So before we get into this here episode, we wanted to, of course, remind you that you can check out all of the other podcasts that Blake and I do by going to maryandblake.com. We, of course, want to thank our friends at jointhenerdclan.com for making this possible. If we are bringing you Lumos in the time of Nox, if we have kept you company in 2020, please, please, please feel free to join the Patreon feed at jointhenerdclan.com. For as little as $2 a month, you can honestly keep this going. We're going to be adding actually a new podcast to our repertoire. And the people who get to decide are our friends at jointhenerdclan.com. So if you're not there and if you have something that you want us to cover on the podcast, get on over, sign on up and join, as they hold our fate in their hands. And they're actually voting this week.
Yes. I will say right now in the lead is Lost. Everyone is not. We have like tons of nominations for Lost and The Last Kingdom. That is one that is very quietly soaring up the charts, but bringing up behind it is the Marvel Universe, and what was the other one? Oh, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
The Mandalorian.
All right.
So those are the leaders right now.
And if your favorite was not listed, don't worry. Dinna fash, as we say in the Outlander world, you can head on over.
Yep.
And you can add your vote. All right. For now, let's get into the show.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
So we have a grand time, a real grand time with Harry. For the first time in forever. For the first time in forever. He gets
That's
to
connected to Tangled as well. Because they exist in the same world. Tangled and Frozen.
Look at you.
They exist in the same
Look
universe.
at you.
It's because I'm awesome.
It's bananas, the little Easter eggs that Disney throws in for us. Well, we're not in the Disney world, we're in the Wizarding world right now. And Harry just gets to have a really great time hanging out at the Leaky Cauldron. Once again, is he getting his stay at the Leaky Cauldron for free? I don't know.
Hashtag ad.
Seriously. Or is the Ministry of Magic fronting the bill to keep him safe from Sirius Black? And
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yep.
We just, or is it like, we're going to give you a discounted rate because every time anyone sees Harry Potter eating breakfast.
He's getting what we call in the business comped.
Yes.
That's what he's getting.
Yes, yes. So he, of course, gets to have his little breakfast every day, and then he goes to the archway, opens this magical brick wall that we first got to experience in the Sorcerer's Stone, and heads out to get Diagon Alley.
I'll say this and I'll say it again. I love the fact that at the end of the chapter, or last chapter, Harry felt like it was the stickiest situation he's ever been in. It was the worst situation he's ever been in. And we discussed in the last episode that, yeah, it probably was, considering the circumstances and his magical ability, no muggle money whatsoever, and simply being alone with no way to get rescued. Then, of course, we have the night bus and the rest is history. But in this chapter, it brings us back to Harry's most happy moment there is. Well, at least up until now, which is just being free to roam Diagon Alley at his liking, to do whatever he wants. As he's getting older, he's 12 at this point? Or is he 13?
It's really easy to remember. It's the third book.
Yeah.
So he's 13.
He's 13. Okay, yeah, because he's
so
10.
perfect?
I couldn't remember if he was 9 at the first book or 10 in the
11.
first book.
It's the magical age is 11.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so he's 13.
Yes.
He's a teenager, and he's free to roam pretty much as an adult. So as he's getting older, he's getting more freedom. Mm-hmm. Yet, at the same time, the author does something very smart.
Tell me.
She takes him down just enough to let him know this may be the happiest happiest time you've had in a while, but just know we got some death omens coming.
Yeah.
And it also, that death omen just happens to be the same exact figure that you saw back in the Muggle world. So you can't go that far without knowing bad stuff's going to happen.
Yeah. In case you're feeling a little cozy, you stuff yourself, you gorge yourself on that ice cream,
Right.
Fortescue, okay? You go and you get all those galleons at Gringotts and stop by Flourish and Blots and
it's
hold on to your life as you get the Monstrous Book of Monsters.
It's a great callback to last chapter. It is also a fantastic moment of foreshadowing for the rest of the book. And it's not by accident that Harry is being given a death omen that is from a book at the bookstore. That also happens to be the Grimoire, the Black Dog. And at the same time, that Black Dog is his godfather. Mm-hmm. So it's not only setting Harry up, but it's setting you up as the reader to say, oh, there's some bad stuff happening here with Harry. It's going to get ugly with him.
Yeah, this is the book where, you've said it many times. This is like where the author just really feels free to just gun it. We don't need chapters and chapters of exposition where she just introduces us to everybody all over again. If you're here in the third book, you've read the first two. You know the universe that Harry's in, and it's time to get real. But it's also still a 13-year-old. So while we're on Diagon Alley, I think it's really cute how we hear about Harry was having to talk himself out of getting these like solid gold gobstones, which are like marbles, but they squirt nasty smelling liquid inside each other's face to lose a point. He also wanted to get a moving model of the galaxy and a large glass ball, which like neither of these things are things that we really hear Harry talk about that much, but he's got money jingling in his pockets. He's on vacation pretty much, but it's not really like there's nothing to do except shop. It kind of reminds me when people are on a cruise ship on a rainy day, so you don't have the option of going off the boat. You don't have those excursions planned. The staff is trying to like shuffle things together to give them something to do, but really people are spending money.
Absolutely. That's what they're supposed to do.
That's what I feel like Harry's tempted to do. And yet he has the wherewithal to not go spend this stuff. But the thing that tempts him the most is the firebolt. Let's have a moment for the firebolt. Was there anything in your life growing up, Blake, that you lusted after and wished with your might that you could buy, and you didn't need it? Like Harry.
Oh, yes,
Harry
absolutely.
doesn't even ask how much it is. He has that much restraint, but he visits it every single day.
I can tell you exactly what it is.
Tell me.
You're not gonna. You'll probably laugh.
Was it a baseball card?
No.
Okay.
No. I wanted a BB gun.
Okay.
At like this age, and maybe like a little bit younger.
Okay.
I wanted a BB gun in the worst way. I don't know why. I like even thinking about it now as an adult and thinking about like why, even as a kid, I don't know why I wanted a BB gun. I just did. I thought it was like the best thing ever to have one, so you could like shoot squirrels, or you could just shoot at bottles and knock them over, and just being like, I got a BB gun. Like, how cool is that? And then you could buy like the special like little pellets that like exploded, or they went in, and they were piercing. Mm-hmm. I wanted that whole world to be mine. I wanted one with a scope so I could hammer in on small objects. I wanted a BB gun in the worst way. I don't know if there was something that you ever felt like, Mary, that you wanted, the way that Harry lusts after a firebolt.
That is a good question. I mean, as I got older, I definitely wanted higher performing saxophones. So, listen, they're like a car. Okay.
Hold on. No! There you go. It's louder.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you. So, instruments are a lot like cars. There's lower grade ones that are made a bit more cheap. They may break a bit more. They may be a little less steady in their pitch, and you got to kind of play with different things. Those of you who play instruments, you know what I'm talking about. But, my instruments, they were always just okay. And they still to this day are just okay. Mm-hmm. Because now that I'm a mom, I'm still playing. I don't gig all the time, though. I'm not like out on the weekends playing at bars and stuff. So I'm doing my wind ensemble, and let's be honest, here in 2020, I'm actually not playing with people. I'm
exactly.
just playing by myself.
And even then, you don't even have the time to do that.
Yeah, my kids also hate the sound of the baritone sax. Mom, that's too loud. Okay, well, this is my life right now. But nonetheless, like, I know that it's not necessarily worth it. I do have a good instrument. I do have good instruments, that get the job done. And that's how Harry feels about this Nimbus 2000. But what is interesting...
No, the firebolt.
I mean...
That's how he feels about the firebolt.
I'm saying he feels about his Nimbus 2000
I see
that
okay.
it's good, that it's good enough to take care of it. What I love, however, is that it's the Irish International. They just put in an order for 7 of these beauties, and they're favorites for the World Cup. They do win the World Cup on those firebolts next year.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
That's some good world building there.
Right.
The fact that the author can include these things, it does go to show.
Like, I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast.
I know.
And she's able to remember these things. Oh, granted.
It does go to show you that there is a through line. Like, she does have a plan. We discussed this, I think, in a couple of chapters ago. There clearly is a plan, but she doesn't have everything figured out. And I think the biggest clue to that would be the Dementors. I don't think she has a clear picture on the Dementors. From Chamber of Secrets, I think the Dementors went from, in the Chamber of Secrets just being the Azkaban guards, to becoming something much more terrifying and nefarious in the Chamber of Secrets. Because I'm not even sure if she understood what Azkaban was, the way that it was fully developed in this book and later on in the series. Do you think that's fair to say? Or do you think that she had an understanding at least of what Azkaban was? in Chamber of Secrets.
I think she knew then.
Yeah, you think so?
She knew then. Yeah, she was like starting to work some things out.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would just love to be a fly on the wall in her brain, in any author's brain. You know, it just to that world building is outside of my realm. I can do improv. I can chat with you. I could do a different perspective once or twice a week.
Oh, and you're good at that, baby. I'll tell you that.
But creating an entire world on my own, it's something else.
That would be a lot. This chapter, though, is just chock full of stuff that will become important later in the book, whether it is the omens or it is Scabbers, who has this really long life that they can't explain. There are so many things that are happening in this chapter, and even when it comes to how Harry is just living in at the Leaky Cauldron. How is this happening? How is the Ministry of Magic okay with this? And it shows you that there is far more gray in the Ministry of Magic than what Harry believes, and that not every decision is made for the betterment of the wizards.
Yes. And also just the naivete of 13-year-old Harry, who understands a lot. Harry is an incredible wizard, just a darling of a chap who's just kind in every way, but he's also a little aloof, where he's not questioning this. He's not saying, wow, like it's not... Harry's wheels get turned in if Snape's involved.
Yeah.
Like if Snape was letting Harry stay at the Leaky Cauldron all this time,
it would be a thing.
You know that he'd be sitting there being like, why? Why do I not have to pay? Why is everyone being so nice to me? Why am I getting ice cream every half hour? Is it poisoned? Is Snape trying to kill me? Like he would be thinking something about it. But on the flip side, it's like Harry just won the lottery and he's just going all in and having a blast. He goes to that bookshop, and I just thought that was so sweet. The manager talking about how they bought 200 copies of the Invisible Book of Invisibility, cost a fortune, and they never found them. Did the books actually get delivered, or were they?
It's like there's books in there. I promise. Don't worry about
it.
Dropped
them off. You'll walk into them. Never did.
Yeah, they're right on the pallet over there. You got 600 of them, actually. I gave you a few extra. Checked in the mail. Oh, man.
He's always looking for Ron and Hermione.
That's a question I actually have for you, Mary. Do you feel like that's a little bit of a hole that the author didn't really think through 100%? I mean, he's got Hedwig by this point. Why can't he just send a message via Hedwig to Harry and Hermione?
I don't understand. What?
Well, he's like looking forward
Who's
to
he?
hear Harry.
You just said he could send a message to Harry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to Ron and Hermione. I apologize. Why didn't he just send a message to Ron and Hermione being like, hey, guess what? I'm at Diagon Alley.
Well, he knows they're going to be showing up someday.
Yeah, but the way that it's written, it's like he's consistently looking for them every single day. And
they've been out of the country.
Yeah.
They've been in Egypt. I forget where Hermione was, but they've been out on vacation. So he doesn't want to hound them and say, can you please come a couple days early? But then they are there. They are showing up. Mm-hmm. Ron looking incredibly freckly. I just loved that. I just loved it so much.
Because that is our son.
They got everything that they needed. And we get to have Hermione being the one that asks Harry, did you really blow up your aunt? And Ron dies laughing, of course. And what's interesting is that he says, like, had I done that, I would be dead by now. Like, look at you. You get off. You can literally blow up your aunt. And then the Minister of Magic comes on over and is like, no worries. Here's a free hotel. Chill out. Just shop all week. Have fun. If I blew up my aunt, I would be dead.
Would be a problem.
But you're Harry freaking Potter.
Sorry.
I'm Harry freaking Potter.
So you can get away with anything. And I loved this because it's the first time that we're really seeing Ron, and he's not saying it in a jealous way. He's saying it in a playful way. But we're going to see Ron have this theme throughout most of the books where it's like, oh, but you're Harry Potter. You can get away with that. You get that special treatment. Here he's just like, so cool. You blew up your eye. Now you just get to eat ice cream all day. I'd be dead. But you know what I mean? Like you hear him, you hear and you see him complain. Like this kind of gets to him over time.
Sure. And I also like the fact too that Ron is so innocent in his ignorance. He doesn't put it together that he's getting all this special treatment with the cars and extra safety because that there's a specific need for it to protect
but if Snape
Harry.
was involved, I'm telling you,
Right.
he would have figured this all out.
He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get these,
Probably
cars,
wouldn't have.
and we're gonna get these escorts, and it's gonna be great, and you should come. Like, what? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pardon my ignorance in this area, but the parents obviously know, right? That
Arthur and Molly?
yeah,
Oh, honey. Yeah.
like they know that Sirius is the godfather, and they know. Do they genuinely believe that Sirius is
Bad to
a
the bone.
bad
Yes.
guy?
Yes.
And that he really has intent to go kill Harry?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised by that.
Why?
Because you would think,
So
or
they
one
weren't
would-
buddies. Like Arthur and Molly Weasley weren't buddies. Okay, they're much older.
They
At least
weren't
I
buddies
think
with
so.
Sirius.
With Sirius and with James and Lily Potter, they were
Okay.
not buddies.
All right, fair enough. But they knew enough. But they do know enough that Sirius
All we
is the
know
godfather.
is that boom, 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 things are happening. Secret keepers, people dying, blowing up. Peter Pettigrew's gone. All we found is his finger, and Sirius Black is literally laughing.
Yeah.
He was the best friend to the Potters. He knew where they were staying, I bet. And now he blew up all these people. Like, that's it. Done.
Sure.
He doesn't get a fair trial. He doesn't get to have a closing statement. And anyone who would have believed him is dead.
That's true. That's a good
And
point.
then there's Lupin.
And then there's Lupin, which obviously we're going to meet in the next chapter, I think. Yeah, the next chapter.
I think so.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we don't know because we're just doing this chapter by chapter. We're being so good.
That's true. That's a good point.
But yes, so Arthur and Molly know what they have been told, the story that pretty much the entire wizarding world, including Lupin, Remus Lupin, have been told and know because everything was so small. I would say that if anyone should have known a little something differently, maybe Dumbledore could have had inklings. Mm-hmm. Maybe Snape could have had inklings, but both of them
Wait, how does Hermione
still think that Sirius Black is bad.
How does Hermione end up going to the magical creature shop with the intent of getting an owl, but she gets Scabbers? I'm not Scabbers, Crookshanks.
Crookshanks. Okay, so she wants to go treat herself. It's her birthday.
Yes.
I think the birthday's tomorrow or something. So she's a little September birthday, a little Virgo, I think. Or maybe not. Does Virgo? Anyway, she's hanging out there. She wants to go get an owl because she wants something that can deliver her own mail. Mm-hmm. And while they're there, Ron is talking about Scabbers, his, I think, 12-year-old
12 years
rat,
old. Yep.
and how he's just been acting funny. And the shopkeeper says, well, what's his magical ability? You know, all of these pets, they've got something magical. Look at these dancing rats. You should go get one of those. And Ron doesn't, but he gets the rat tonic.
Yep.
And of course, Scabbers is acting weird because he's scared because he knows that Sirius Black escaped Azkaban. This, of course, is Peter Pettigrew knows what's going on. Crookshanks, like pretty much part lion, jumps out, chases after Scabbers, it causes all this ruckus, and in the process, Ron and Harry and Scabbers leave
Yes.
the magical creature shop, and Hermione's still there to presumptuously like get her owl.
Yep.
While she's there, she hears this story about how nobody wants Crookshanks, how this squishy-faced, crazy cat, nobody wants Crookshanks. And so she, from the goodness of her heart, picks up Crookshanks
Yep.
and purchases Crookshanks. Now, what we end up finding out, none of this is necessarily covered inside the movie. So if you're a movie person, or if you haven't read Prisoner of Azkaban in a while, what you need to know is Crookshanks is part Kniezel.
That's I was just looking it up right now
Yeah.
to see that Crookshanks was something, because I remember hearing like a fan theory about
Yes.
that or something. Okay.
So Kniezels are a magical creature and they can detect unsavory or suspicious persons very well and react badly to them. But if they take a liking to a witch or wizard, they can make an exceptional pet. So Crookshanks is part Kniezel, which explains why she is just so shady with Scabbers, hates Scabbers. She also gives Ron and Harry some side-eye next book when they are cheating and they're like making up their answers in divination because she knows they're fibbing. So Crookshanks is like, you need to be telling the truth or else I'm going to have a problem with you. And I think that Hermione just falls in love with Crookshanks. Crookshanks is awesome.
You want something that'll bake you noodle?
Yep.
It's rumored. This is neither confirmed nor denied by the author. It's rumored that Crookshanks is actually Lily Potter's cat. And here's some proof. In the Deathly Hallows, when the trio are in Grimmauld Place, Harry reads a letter handwritten by Lily. In the letter, she mentions that they had a cat and that Harry almost ran it over with his toy broomstick. Yeah. Harry even wonders if it survived the attack by Voldemort and if it was alive. In The Prisoner of Azkaban, the owner at the Magical Menagerie from where Hermione buys Crookshanks tells her that she had Crookshanks for quite some time and that nobody ever wanted him. This could correspond to our earlier timeline where the cat disappeared after Voldemort's attack on the Potter's residence. And soon after Crookshanks is bought by Hermione, he quickly recognizes Scabbers and the Shaggy Dog as Peter and Sirius, respectively. The fan theory goes that Crookshanks recognized them both because they would have frequently visited Lily and James when he was with them. Boom. There's also a popular theory, no doubt started by Tumblr, of course, which states that the boa constrictor that Harry helped escape in the Sorcerer's Stone is actually Nagini, who becomes Voldemort's final Horcrux.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Now, nowhere in the book does it say which type of snake Nagini is, which is probably that fueled this fan theory, but it is most definitely is false, simply because Nagini is poisonous, clearly evidenced by the attack on Arthur Weasley.
Awesome.
But it is...
But I'm down with Crookshanks being Lily's cat.
I'm kind of in on that, too.
That's amazing.
I think that's a really cool fan theory. Like,
/ he's part Kniezel.
Right. Like, and what again is a Kniezel?
So Crookshanks is part Kniezel, not full Kniezel, but it's a magical creature that can detect if someone is suspicious and if people are lying and things like that, and they act badly to those people, to those individuals.
Gotcha.
So guess what?
What?
Ron still has his old crappy rat, but he's got a brand new wand finally. At least the Weasleys did something really good with that money. I mean, taking their family to Egypt, great, but this is like a very poor family.
Yep.
Remember them scraping their bank at the end of the last, like in the last book?
Yes.
And here they finally get a big break, and they're like, let's go to Egypt.
Yeah.
Ron, we couldn't even afford for Ron to have a new one. I mean, maybe they still have a lot extra. We'll just pretend that this is like going to take care of things for a while. Mm-hmm. But he finally gets his new wand, and I dig it.
Yeah, I'm in.
So we get the note that Scabbers is not really special or magical, that he probably should be. And what else did you want to bring up, babe?
I feel like Crookshanks is one of those, like, because at this point, I think as a Potter reader, you have been trained by this point to know that not everything is what it seems. Not everything is, not everything's always on the level. And I think Crookshanks is one of those things where the way that Crookshanks just appears, acts with Scabbers, we've accepted Scabbers as who he is because Scabbers has been with us for now 2 years, going into the third book. And we just accept, like, okay, that's Scabbers. That's Ron's rat. We don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's 12 years old now. He doesn't have these specific magical powers. And it kind of normalizes Scabbers. Like, it normalizes the fact that, okay, he's just what he is. Then that's okay.
Yeah.
But Crookshanks comes in as something that's new.
Yes.
And
knows right
away something is off. Mm-hmm. And we, as readers, I think are trained to say, whoa, hold on. That's not right. Something is up with Crookshanks. And you just dismiss the thing with Scabbers altogether. Would you agree with this or would you disagree?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think so too.
We get to hang out with the Weasley family. Pretty much my favorite family. I mean, there's not a lot of families, and this family's big, and they've got a lot of personalities. They, of course, are staying at the Leaky Cauldron. Everybody gets to eat together. We get to see Ginny, who's so bashful in front of Harry. And we get to, of course, see Percy, head boy, super proud, humongous big head, as Fred and George completely switch around his pin. And he's just proud of himself. And we get to see Fred and George are kind of dabbling in different things in life, not too excited about their grades, of course. And we get to hear, like you said, that the ministry is going to be providing a couple of cars.
Right.
Nobody really gets into this too much. Mr. and Mrs. Weasley just say, "Oh, it's nice because we've got so many people, and this is a nice favor." It's just interesting that this does once again go under the radar of Harry, which Harry misses a lot of things. God bless him. But we know that this is because Harry's precious cargo, and they want to make sure that he gets there safely.
Right.
That he doesn't have to worry about going around the countryside or taking the Muggle underground, just in case Sirius Black is out there. So, we do get to have Harry overhear Mr. and Mrs. Weasley, though.
How do you feel about this? Because in the movie, it plays differently, obviously.
Yes. In the movie,
it was more active.
Mr. Weasley tells Harry,
Yeah.
"Listen, people do not want me to tell you this because they're afraid you can't handle it, but you can handle this. Sirius Black is coming after you."
How do you, number one, like that adaptive choice? And then number two, do you think it's a better choice than to have Harry hear this, by chance?
I like the way that this is written because it comes off genuine, and same does it. The same could be said in the movie. In the movie, when Arthur pulls him aside, "I need to tell you this because people don't want me to tell you, but I think you should." We get to hear Mr. Weasley say this right here. It makes no sense not to tell him. Harry's got the right to know. No, I've tried to tell Fudge, but he insists on treating Harry like a child. So we get to hear this banter, how Arthur Weasley has asked Fudge. Now he's talking to his wife. And I like this because I enjoy Arthur Weasley in the books, but I really enjoy him in the movies. I think that the actor, we talked about this in the last movie when we got to see him, he just did such an amazing job portraying Arthur Weasley. And I love having these moments where he's like, "No, I'm rooting for Harry. I've even spoken to the Minister of Magic that I think he's making the wrong choice, that this boy is 13 years old. He's saying it like that is old enough that he should be worthy of the truth." So I enjoy this. I enjoy overhearing it.
The ending of this chapter is one of my favorite endings of a chapter in Harry Potter. And that is high praise, because the way that the author tends to end these things, end these chapters, is really, really cool. I remember, the ending of the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry was there, but somebody else was with him.
Yep. ...
Yep. But just bear with me as I read this, because I just find it so exquisitely written that it just needs to be called out. So, Sirius Black was after him. That explained everything. Fudge had been lenient with him because he was so relieved to find him alive. And now Harry is finally starting to get some understanding of this. He'd made Harry promise to stay in Diagon Alley, where there were plenty of wizards to keep an eye on him, and he was sending 2 ministry cars to take them all to the station tomorrow so that the Weasleys could look after Harry until he was on the train. Harry lay listening to the muffled shouting next door and wondered why he didn't feel more scared. Sirius Black had murdered 13 people with one curse. Mr. and Mrs. Weasley obviously thought Harry would be panic-stricken if he knew the truth, but Harry happened to agree wholeheartedly with Mrs. Weasley that the safest place on Earth was wherever Albus Dumbledore happened to be. Didn't people always say that Dumbledore was the only person Lord Voldemort had ever been afraid of? Surely Black, as Voldemort's right-hand man, would just as frightened of him too. And then there were these Azkaban guards everyone kept talking about. They seemed to scare most people senseless, and if they were stationed all around the school, Black's chances of getting inside seemed very remote. No, all in all, the thing that bothered Harry most was the fact that his chances of visiting Hogsmeade now looked like 0. Okay, as a quick aside, he is aware of all these things, but he feels safe and comforted in in these adult terms with Sirius and Dumbledore. But it goes to show you that even though he is 13, he still cares deeply about going to
he wants to go on the
Hogsmeade.
field trip.
Like he wants to be there.
That is priority number one in Harry Potter's mind right now.
So it's a great reminder that Harry is just still a kid. Nobody would want Harry to leave the safety of Castle until Black was caught. In fact, Harry suspected his every move would be carefully watched until the danger had passed. He scowled at the dark ceiling. Did they think he couldn't look after himself? He'd escaped Lord Voldemort 3 times. He wasn't completely useless.
That's right.
Unbidden, the image of the beast in the shadows of Magnolia Crescent crossed his mind. What to do when you know the worst is coming. I'm not going to be murdered, Harry said out loud. That's the spirit, dear, said his mirror sleepily. Oh!
Said the mirror.
Yes. Everything about, you know what?
Makes me wanna shout.
I love everything about that
True.
those final paragraphs. Those final paragraphs are outstanding because Harry is okay. Harry is okay with all the ugly stuff. He's pissed off about Hogsmeade, and he thinks, "Who are you people? You know what? I'm
Harry freaking Potter.
3 times.
3 times I
3
defeated
times.
Lord Voldemort. How many times have you done that? How many times? Let's count them. None.
0.
I got 3 pelts on my wall, and you guys got nothing.
And you're not going to let me go to Hogsmeade?
And you think you can protect me? Trust
Back up.
Me. Yeah, back that train up here. Okay, let's talk about this
Yeah.
for a little bit. But I find that he is so convicted in his ability. He is so convicted in his triumphs already. And it goes to show you that he's kind of forgetting a little bit that he didn't do it alone. And it's going to show you, too, that at some point, he's going to need help. Again, this is something that happens, obviously, later on in this book. And throughout the series, we recognize Harry can't get anywhere unless he has the help of others, including adults, by the way.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you think that Harry is just getting big for his britches because he's a 13-year-old and he thinks I'm a stud?
I mean, he is a stud. I am the chosen one. I'm just saying it. Just saying it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I love the ending of this chapter. And then to have it end with like, that's the spirit, dear, with the mirror saying that back to him sleepily. Just the mirror is like, okay, honey, yeah, you go to bed. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. Don't you worry about that. You're like, okay, no problem. Got anything else you want to say about this chapter, Mom?
Yes, I would love to point out that Hermione Granger is taking pretty much every single class known to man, including Muggle Studies, which she's Muggle born, but she wants to read it from a wizard's perspective. And I gotta tell you, when I was rereading this portion, I would have done the same.
Nerd!
I almost said it out loud. I want to see it from their perspective. Yes, I'm going to ace the class, but that's really cool to see it from that perspective. But she's already got a full plate. Harry even jokes like, "When are you going to sleep?" So put that little bee in your bonnet, if you may.
Right.
And I do love that Arthur Weasley points out that if Black can break out of Azkaban, he can break into Hogwarts.
Absolutely.
Everyone keeps saying Hogwarts is safe. Hogwarts is safe. Hogwarts is safe. Is it?
Is it really?
No.
And it's not. Scabbers is in there every day.
Voldemort's got in there.
Yeah.
Scabbers everybody gets in there, okay?
Everybody in the club.
I don't even know what the safest place would be. If you had to pick a safe place, where would you go?
Oh, man, where would I go?
Grimwald's place. That's right.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know about that yet.
I'm just saying, that's where I would go. Mary Larson,
Oh,
pop
like
me
right
over
now?
there. Yeah.
Like,
Knowing
yeah,
what
where
you
would I
know?
go right now knowing what I know? Yeah, I think
Not camping.
I think definitely not camping. Out on camping.
Out on Fort Privet Drive. I don't
Way
care
out on
how
Fort Privet
safe
Drive.
it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
Keep
to me.
me out of there.
Keep me out of that. I think Grimmauld Place might be the safest place. Only
Totally
because...
depressing, though.
Yeah, especially with Creature walking around and like talking about
Filthy mudbloods.
Creature does this. Blah, 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 blah.
I would just walk around with headphones. Can't hear you. It's Christmas.
Get those new AirPod Maxes that are $549.
Stop.
Yeah, Apple came out with the headphones that go over your ears.
Okay.
And they're called AirPod Max or something like that.
It's called headphones, Apple. Why are you charging $540?
$549 for those bad boys. And you know what the sick thing is? I kind of want them.
I'm not buying that for you for Christmas.
I don't blame
Sorry.
you. I don't blame you, but I kind of want them.
Shopping's
just because I'm an Apple freak now, thanks to my lovely bride.
You're welcome for converting it.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just gave you my anything else.
All right, I just want to make sure. Okay, of course, head on over to the jointhenerdclan.com and become part of our official Nerd Clan community. Get access to premium podcasts, one that has yet to be decided, that will be decided by the end of the month. In bonus episodes, free swags, bonus Q&As from Mary and I. And, of course, the After Dark episodes that are now happening. Well, not at this very moment, but are happening after This Is Us episodes. So I'm very excited about that. So go to jointhenerdclan.com. Put your vote in, your nomination for the podcast that has yet to be decided. You will decide it.
Woo!
Everybody, all the nerds over at jointhenerdclan.com will decide it.
So excited.
So just think of that as a fun little benefit of becoming an official nerd.
Yes.
All right, nerds. Well, Mary, I mean,
do you want it? You need to do it. You need to do one.
No, I think it's your turn. I did one last episode.
What did you do?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I feel like I do all of them.
No, I did the last one. Oh, I did Aunt Marge.
Okay.
I think it was Aunt Marge.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Here, right. Here's your it's your turn.
Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter! I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Mr. Fortescue.
Oh, okay.
So, listen. It's summer break.
Yep.
And I do not know why, but traffic has just been slow. I sell ice cream and it's the summer and we go through this lag. A lot of Europeans, they just kind of take off the month and just go abroad. Hello, it's fantastic here, but whatever. And then they'll come, to shop for their kids for the week. But that's the problem. It's like a week. And I get so backed up. I make so much money. The week before Hogwarts, right before September 1st, I make bank. But aside from that, it's a little slow, particularly this summer.
I mean, how many kids are really roaming around, Diagon Alley? Because that's who you sell into.
Yeah, because this is where you get all your stuff. This is where you get your cauldrons. This is where you go to Malcolm's to get your robes. I mean, this is honestly like the one-stop shop. It's like we're a college town, okay?
Yeah, man.
That's really what we are. We're a sleepy college town off-season. I don't have beaches. I don't have a ski resort. I rely upon the kids
You're
and their
basically
parents.
Columbus, Ohio. That's what you are.
Right now I am, man. Right now I am. And then all of a sudden, rumor got around. Tom from the Leaky Cauldron. You know Tom.
I know Tom. He's a great guy.
Oh, my God. He loves raspberry cheesecake ice cream. Let me just tell you. He comes on and he's like, "You'll never guess who's coming in. Harry freaking Potter." Harry Potter.
Wait, when did Tom turn into Errol?
Harry Potter. Goodness bless him. Came over on his way to Gringotts, picked up an ice cream.
Yep.
And not only does this kid like ice cream, not lactose intolerant, score, win one for me. He likes the flavor that I can't get rid of. He likes pistachio. He likes pistachio ice cream. Kid loves nuts.
I can't pay people to take it away.
You know how I know he loves nuts? The first day he came here with Hagrid, he got an ice cream with nuts all over it. What kid likes nuts all over their ice cream? What kid likes pistachio ice cream? You know what I got?
What?
I got like 5 tubs of pistachio. Never going to sell it. I think they're years old, but it's in the freezer, so I think it's okay. Probably not.
Little freezer burn.
Like not
just a
serve
smidge.
safe, but it's Harry Potter. It's not going to kill him.
Not
If Voldemort
serve safe.
can't kill him, my ice cream won't.
A little bit of magic does the trick.
Boom. So I stick him out there, and I say, Harry, for you, you can
Anything.
have as much pistachio ice cream as you want. You come back, I'll give you a pistachio ice cream every half hour because I've got 5 tubs of it downstairs from 2 years ago. And that's what I do. And I just scoop. And you want to know what happens? People
What's that?
walk by.
And they go, Harry freaking Potter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He loves ice cream. Like, that Fortescue knows what's up.
I know. I love ice cream.
Maybe I want pistachio ice cream. This has been the best marketing campaign of my life.
Does Harry know something that I don't know? Maybe the pistachio is where it's at.
The few people that are here at Diagon Alley, they're all coming to my shop. And they're seeing that Harry is eating it multiple times a day. I actually heard some witch say she thinks that's how he beat Voldemort.
Really?
That it must be ice cream.
It's pistachio power.
Telling you. I have made so much money before even these kids came back. I'm set. I think I'm going to go to Egypt. I may go to Mallorca. I don't even know.
You know you're going to Mallorca. Yeah, like, that's where it's at. Spring break, man.
Yeah.
You know, what happens in Mallorca stays in Mallorca.
Pistachio. That's where it's at.
Good job. Hashtag ad. All right.
I actually love pistachio pudding.
Oh, it's gross.
I love it.
I am so far out on pistachio.
I like pistachio flavored soft serve. Because then you don't even have the nuts, but you've got like the nutty flavor, the fake nutty flavor.
Oh.
No, God, please.
That's right, Michael. No, absolutely not.
No.
It's the worst.
No.
Nope, the
end.
worst.
Emails. Let's get into our email bag.
All right, let's do it.
Miles
Two noses on the camera right now.
Allison says, I love pistachio ice cream, but I hate pistachios.
I love pistachios. There are very few things I don't love. I don't love scallops because they make me very sick.
That makes you go
violently ill.
That makes you go full
What else don't
exorcist.
I love? Very
I don't know.
few things.
Yeah, very few things you don't love.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
I
Imagine
know.
that. All right. So let's see.
Don't love milk, but I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
But I love ice cream.
Okay, so here we go. First email. Hi, Mary and Blake. Listening to the Night Bus podcast and your thoughts on Harry accidentally summoning the Night Bus. Aside from my first reading, I've always read this passage as Sirius deliberately startling Harry so that he would thrust out his wand, or as the case is, drop it, and therefore summon the bus. Sirius knew that this would happen. This was a small way he could help Harry in the worst fix he had been in. Maybe I'm drawing a long bow. Interested in your thoughts, Kristen. Marvin, your thoughts on this, the likelihood of Sirius knowing that Harry was in a real fix.
Listen, if Sirius had this wherewithal to say, I'm going to spook him and he's going to flop his arm and get the night bus, then well done.
Yeah, but
well done, Sirius, because I got to tell you, I taught middle schoolers, they never do what you plan on them doing. Never. And anyone who's a parent out there or has had a middle school aged kid, 13-year-old kid, even if you think, I'm not going to tell them, I'm just going to like sneakily kind of trick them into doing something, never works. Never works.
Never works.
So if Sirius cracked the code on how to get a 13-year-old to do something without the 13-year-old knowing that an adult was trying to make him do it, well done. Claps.
Of course, but Mary just answered that question. But I do want to remind you that if you're listening to this on the podcast app, you are not alone. You're just as much as part of this segment as the people who are watching us live, as Kristen has just proved. You can send us your emails, regardless of the chapter. Obviously, it has to do with kind of the book that we're reading, I suppose. I don't want.
Dibble dabble.
I don't want questions about, the Deathly Hallows quite yet, unless it relates specifically to the Prisoner of Azkaban. But send us an email at maryandblakemedia@gmail.com. And for those of you who are watching live right now, this is the time to ask your questions, since we just read the last email. And of course, Mary, what do the people on the live have to do in order for them to tell us what the question is?
Please put the emoji of the lightning bolts before your question, and that way we will know that you want us to read it.
Jennifer says, don't forget the house elf heads.
Yes.
Aren't those at Grimmauld Place?
They are. I would have to redecorate if I lived at Grimmauld Place.
Yeah. Caitlin says, my favorite line from the chapter is when Fred and George said they tried to lock Percy in a pyramid, but Molly stopped them.
So good. So good.
And she follows that up with, Caitlin asks, earlier you mentioned world building. Which do you think would be harder, creating an entire world, Game of Thrones style world based on history, Outlander style, or modern world with which part created world, Harry Potter style?
What would be harder for you, Blake? Because I think this would be different for both of us.
Oh, that's a good question. I vacillate between Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. I say that because Game of Thrones, you have to create everything. There are some things that humans, as we know them, as we are, can just relate to. And that is something that you can put into a book like Game of Thrones. But you need to create an entirely new world, new customs, new names, different spellings, religions, sword lore, dragon lore. It's endless, the possibilities. The problem with a style of world building like Harry Potter is that it runs parallel to, as we've discussed, the Muggle world. Mm-hmm. That is both a blessing and a burden. How do you weave Harry Potter into the Muggle world? And here's a real question. What is the dominant world? Do Muggles live in the magical world unknowingly? Or do Muggles live in, do wizards live in the Muggle world knowingly? Right?
You're blowing my mind right now, man.
So how do you weave them in, and how do you make them go back and forth between each other? My sense is that because wizards in the wizarding community takes every chance they can to hide themselves from the Muggles, wizards are living in a Muggle world. And so you'd have to operate around that. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the hardest choice for me would probably be Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter would be a close second, only because you have to, like, how do Muggles not know where Hogwarts is? How do they not see it? And you have to come up with that answer. Mm-hmm. You know, how do they explain a train that comes from King's Cross to going to wherever? How does somebody not see that? How do they say, hey, that train's not on the schedule? Like, where's that going?
The train just gets you, Blake. You always bring the train up.
I know, but these are things that you have to answer.
I know.
And even things like Ron not knowing how to use a telephone, or what is the function of a rubber duck, or those things. How do you figure that out? So that would be very hard. How about you, Mary?
I think it would be easiest for me to do a Harry Potter style and the imaginatory thing. I think my hardest would be history, just because I don't pay attention enough to history and I don't remember things, and I would honestly just be called out the entire time. This was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. And I'd be like, I can't. I don't have enough flexibility. I like the flexibility. So that would be what I would do.
It's funny because you have to do the research. And I think actually, oddly enough, Outlander does a pretty good job outside of book 2. The show that I love that it works within a historical construct is *Halt and Catch Fire*. *Halt and Catch Fire* does an excellent job of having the characters in the show operate in a big way, enough that they make a difference, but nowhere near on the same level as Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. They're just kind of like local people who do these things that could influence but don't make a difference. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that world, when you're doing a historical fiction, generally you have to make it so that your characters are part of the DNA, but not so much affecting the history because they don't exist in the actual history. Mm-hmm. Outlander rides that fine line. It's a very fine line that Outlander does. Kim asks, what are your shirts tonight?
Ooh, fantastic question, Kim.
So let's go to the split screen here. For me, I have my Gilderoy Lockhart shirt, free of charge, on. You can get that at the MaryandBlakeStore.com. And Mary has her cotton-headed Ninny Muggles shirt. You can also get that at the MaryandBlakeStore.com. Get that just in time for the Christmas season. So head over there at MaryandBlakeStore.com. Check out all the cool Harry Potter stuff and Outlander and This Is Us and Mary and Blake brand and The Leftovers. We got a whole bunch of different cool stuff.
Of things going on. Bonnie asks, I had forgotten Hermione didn't get Crookshanks till this chapter. Do they need an animal at Hogwarts besides a handy owl? What's the purpose of these animals with the students?
I will defer to you, Marvin, on that one.
Oh, okay. So Hermione did not have a pet, so the students have an option to bring a pet to school. It comes comes in their first year letter, where they say like, you can have an owl, a cat, a toad. We do know that they're able to have some flexibility with pets. I don't know if like Ron has Scabbers, who's a rat, and that's not necessarily listed in the first year pets that are available. So we don't know if maybe those are just ideas. Like you could have a this, that, and the other thing. We know that Lee Jordan ends up having a tarantula. Ginny ends up having like a pygmy puff as a pet. So I don't know if they just try to keep things basic in the first years and then they can expand or whatever. But the whole purpose of it, so for example, the owls are there to help with their handy discourse if they want to chat with people. All of the animals are supposed to have generally some kind of a magical ability to help them out and just to kind of keep them company. I think I would love for people to have cats so that way they could keep the mice out. Probably is a big problem for Scabbers since so many people obviously had cats. But I think it's just for that extra companionship and to help them if they do. For example, like they don't have cell phones, so if they want to, it's like, oh yes, and you can bring your pager. What it would have been. Leave it in your room. Leave your owl in your room or in the owlery.
Sure,
but you can have that if you want to communicate with mom and dad. So I think for.
Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
just for purposes of companionship or if they needed them for communicating.
Ellen asks on Facebook, if you could create your own flavor of ice cream, what would you create? I tried Vegemite flavored ice cream once and it was disgusting. Vegemite chocolate through, though not as bad as I thought.
So
Marvin,
gross.
what would be your flavored ice cream?
That is a really good question.
Man, like there are so many different flavors already that...
Am I salivating?
Like what?
I would want it chocolate based. I would want a caramel swirl. I would want some crunchies in it, like chocolate crunchies, maybe some chocolate chip cookie dough bits inside of it.
Sure.
Let's see, what else do I want inside of it? Don't want the brownie. I'm more of the cookie dough over the brownie. I do want some peanut butter big chunks in it, though. Like, I want dollops of peanut butter inside of it. That's what I would want.
No thanks.
Maybe marshmallow fluff, too. Pretty much fish food with chocolate. It is chocolate with peanut butter inside. That would be it, and caramel.
Here's the question. How does one define ice cream? Like, does it have to be dessert? Can ice cream be dinner?
Yes.
And if that's the case...
Yes.
I kind of would like to try a steak-flavored ice cream.
Okay, I bet we can find that for you, Blake.
Like, why not? Get some steak. I want some steak.
All set.
Get some protein in there. Why not? Sure.
Ooh, I was salivating, and now I am not.
And now you are heaving.
Thanks so much.
Melissa asked, Mary, how did you get your hair so cute today?
Oh, thank you very much. First off, it's clean. Actually, it's not. That's the answer, Melissa. That's the answer. Thank you, though. Jennifer asks, what do you think makes Percy so different from the other Weasleys? Do you think he takes the rules too seriously and himself too, or is there something more there? I think that Percy has incredibly high goals for himself. I think he sees him at this time in the books, and for a lot of the books, I think he sees himself as better than his family.
Sure.
I am better than them. I want to have a life better than they gave me. I want to have a family and give them opportunities that are better than I have. So I'm going to put in the work now. I'm going to get the good grades. I'm going to be the head boy. I'm going to work for the ministry so that I can have a life full of meaning. I wonder if he looks at his dad and he says, like, come on. He deals with the enchantment of Muggle stuff. Like, how is that helping the world be a better place? And how are you providing for this family of yours?
And he also sees, like, his older brothers doing, like, cool things. The one's working with dragons and...
But does he see it as cool? I don't know.
That's a good point.
I do think he sees Bill. Bill works at Gringotts. Bill was head boy.
Sure.
But yeah, I think he has these two big brothers who, like you said, did cool things. Charlie was the captain of Quidditch, and let's be real, that's what it is. I mean, think about it. Percy has grown up under Charlie and Bill. Head boy, captain of Quidditch, going to deal with dragons, working at Gringotts Bank. Like, those are some really big shoes to fill.
Sure.
So I think that this is how he's found his own way.
Elizabeth asks, who cleans the litter boxes?
I think they go outside.
I think the elves probably clean those bad boys.
Maybe they have the automatic ones that Blake and I have.
Caitlin says, not a question, but where I used to work, where we had bacon jalapeno flavored shakes. So I'm sure steak is possible. Bacon ice cream, that'd be interesting.
I bet they do make bacon ice cream. I tried it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mo asks, do you think Percy has Slytherin qualities with his ambition?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. He's probably a Slytherin. Or a Grifferin.
Grifferin?
Yeah.
I would feel that. I do like the name Slitherdor better.
Slitherdor is a great, but that implicit in that is that he's more Slytherin than
yes.
Gryffindor.
Agreed.
That's just not the case. So as of right now, that is the end of the questions.
I think it's tough for us as readers because we're seeing it through often Ron's perspective. You know, we hang out with Ron. Ron's pretty much our best friend in the books because we're hanging with Harry. And so Ron, once again, has these big shoes that he feels the need to fill. And Percy is just the one that's at home right now. And Percy's like got that middle child syndrome, you know, where he's just like, I'm going to prove myself. But what he does wrong is he puts down others.
Right.
But let's be real. If you are being stuck in a pyramid by Fred and George, if Fred and George are your next siblings in line, and that's what you have to put up with? At least when you had Bill and Charlie, it was fine and fun and, you know, whatever. But you are stuck with these delinquents. And then Ron, who spent an entire year with a broken wand.
Right.
Come on, Ron.
Pick it up, kid.
Buddy. Go get like a job, a job.
Yeah. Put yourself to work. You know, get out there, shovel some crap or something.
Seriously, man.
You know, you're kind of right, Mary. We kind of adopt Ron's perspective, I think, as readers, and we look at Percy like he's kind of a dink. Like he's just a nerd boy dink that you just want to make fun of. Do you find that? What
I don't like, I think what sours us is when he puts down his family, when he puts down, you know, he kind of scoffs, like, you're lesser than me. That is, to me, what turns me off from Percy. Because it's one thing, you know, we look at Hermione, who is a nerd in all senses. You know, she wants to take all these classes. She wants to take the Muggle studies. We can read that and be like, oh, Hermione, ha, ha, ha. We could be that way with Percy. Oh, you're a head boy. Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to work in the ministry. But he also throws in all this kind of just better than thou. Mm-hmm. kind of attitude to his family, and that is what we don't like. Sure. And that's what we see from Ron, where Percy will put him down, will put his family down, and that changes everything. I think it's not just necessarily from it being Ron being like, this is my annoying big brother, which I do think, you know, adds some flavoring to it, but I also think that it's Percy being a snob.
Yep, absolutely. All right, it is time to close this bad boy. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
So much for hanging out with us, being the Lumos in our time of Nox here in 2020. Of course, we're wrapping things up in 2020, and I wanted to let you know that if one of the things that has brought you joy this year, then we recommend you go to jointhenerdclan.com and become a patron. Let us know. That is one of the easiest ways that you can help us out, whether it is sharing especially on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Sharing this is huge, but also making that investment for $2 a month. It's as little as it's less than a cup of coffee.
Yep.
You will help keep this going, and you're also going to be able to have your voice heard with what podcast we will be doing next.
Yep. And of course, one other thing that we'd love for you to do if you find enough value in what we do is just give us a written review on any one of your podcatchers of choice, primarily, of course, Apple Podcasts. And if you can't do that on Apple Podcasts, no problem. Just go to our Facebook page, Mary and Blake. Write us a little written review. Tell us if we suck, if we're great, and let us know.
Don't tell us if we suck. It hurts my feelings.
Well, you know, hey, I want the truth. I just want the truth to grow and get better. You know?
I do not.
I think it'd be fair.
I would like ice cream.
Bacon flavored,
no.
Pistachio, or steak?
Chocolate, caramel, cookie dough, peanut butter. Thank you very much. My name's Mary Larson.
My name's Blake.
Mischief managed.